time to make another video. I'm out on a walk and I feel pretty good. I walked up to the pool and did some laps, and I feel like God's kind of getting me moving again and things are happening. I haven't made a video for a little while, and I've been handing out a few bucks here and there, but what I'm doing is I'm gearing up to start to really try to interview some of these people, kind of ask them their stories. But first, in a few days here, my older daughter and I are going to do a drive across the country. Woo, faster! Papa Wheelie! We're going to drive across the country and drop her off at college, which will be exciting, and it's a wonderful thing. To tell the truth, I think I've been in a mild state of depression for 2 years straight because my girls have been drifting away, and not so much away as to building their own lives, which is healthy and which I'm very, very thankful for. It's been hard though, and to be very honest, the whole 2 years have been leading up to this drive we're taking next week and dropping her off at college and me coming back home alone. So I felt so much pressure lately, and this morning I woke up and I just felt paralyzed, and I had to just really say prayers and really remember what it's like to trust God, and really remember what it was like to give my girls to God back then, and how I've had to just continually do that over and over. It's heavy. I almost feel like I'm going into the fire again, and it's just another opportunity to lean on the Lord. Oh, yeah. Shoot. Should have tried to give that guy a high five. I love to do that when I'm out here walking. I put out my hand to slap five with people, and it's amazing how they react. A few people will give me five. It's such a good feeling. And I always go, yeah. And sometimes they go, yeah. And then other people, they'll pull back. Like my hand is a viper. It's so funny. Just wanted to mention I'm going through this heavy thing, and it's not a unique thing. It's any healthy family goes through it, and unhealthy families go through it, and it's just another rite of passage, just another reality of life on this planet. Oh boy. I remember I had a friend once, and I was telling him about God, and he said, "Show me the evidence." I said, "Well, you have eyes, let them see. You have ears, let them hear." I don't see how anyone can look at this world and not see intelligent design. Then something very interesting happened in his family, and as it turned out, I played a part. I'll never forget the day I formally met him for the first time. I didn't have my girls that day, so I woke up early and I went down to the church to volunteer, because they have Saturday morning work detail or volunteer cleanup or whatever. And I remember I went up there and I said, "Give me the worst job you have." And they all looked at each other and laughed. They're like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "Yeah, I want to do the job nobody else wants to do. The hardest job, the worst job, the most gross, terrible, awful job. That's what I want." So like, okay, because we have a big meeting of pastors from around the country, and all the rooms are covered in goose poo-poo. I said, okay, point out the way. So I spent the whole morning over there scrubbing goose poo-poo. Wasn't that bad. It's just like little elbow grease. Got it pretty clean. So anyways, I was planning on meeting some friends down at the beach afterwards. So I went straight down to Laguna Beach. And there's nothing like jumping in the ocean at Laguna Beach after a tough morning scrubbing goose poo-poo. Take my word for it. And that's when I met my friend's son for the first time. Very cool guy. Very cool. I mean, one of the best blessings of seeing some of my old friends is meeting their kids, because their kids are so dang cool. And you know, I told him I was at church doing work and started sharing the gospel, and he's like, no, I don't want to hear that. So, as I was saying, there came a time in his family where there was some turmoil. And what was strange is that I hadn't seen their family in a long time, and next thing you know, I was thrust straight in the middle of it. And doing my part and doing what I do, I shared the gospel. And I had some talks, said some prayers, and I wrote a letter. And I don't know what God did, but if that letter hit home or the prayers were answered, but that turmoil got cleaned up. And it's like, you want to see some evidence? You know, how's the fact of me coming into your family's life after all these years, right in the middle of this, and playing a part in fixing what could have been a major family devastation, really? And I remember he said something like, well, you're just a naturally nice guy, and there's naturally nice people out there that do these kinds of things. First of all, no, I'm not. You want to go into my head for a day, you're going to see an evil scientist. You're probably going to come out with a black eye, hear a lot of muttered cuss words, hear a lot of murderous plans. You know, God said, if you think bad of someone, you've committed murder. I've done worse. Every night when they were lighting off all those fireworks, shoot, I pictured stepping out on my balcony with a high-powered rifle and taking kids out one by one. And I planned it all out too. Not because I really wanted to commit murder, just as a problem-solving exercise. It's funny because I just saw like a big pack of those kids on their e-bikes. You know, shoot, they're about 10. And I thought, what if I went out there and shot them all, and then the next night a firework went off, proving it wasn't them after all. It's not just that I was a nice guy. You know, I think that God knows I'm faithful. He knows my heart. He knows I'll go in there to the worst mess and I'll do my best to clean it up. So he used me, and he blessed me, and he blessed that family. And all the timing was perfect. But my friend couldn't see that, or refused to see that. I just said, hey, resistance is futile. You can't stop me from praying for you. And you know what? You can't come to the Father until he draws you in through the Son anyway. So you can't even come in right now anyway if you wanted to. Sit back and relax. Wait your turn. God is so good. I was talking to my other friend who lives over in Hawaii last night, and we lived together in San Francisco when we were young in the 90s, and we had a lot of fun. And he's like one of the only guys I can still talk to who's just gets me laughing and smiling right away. And it's like nothing's changed, like no time has passed. And, you know, I told him I'm extremely humbled right now. And I'm downright scared. And, you know, my daughter came over to see me the other day and tell me about her latest camping trip. And the whole time she was talking, I was just looking at her like I was seeing a ghost. Like this is the last time this was ever going to happen. And that she's moving away for good. And who knows what the future holds. And I told him that I've made so many mistakes and that I'm not in a good financial situation. It's going to be hard for me to help them. And, you know, he started telling me about all these good things I've done and how much I've blessed those kids by being in their lives and pointing them in these directions and having all these adventures with them and all the stuff we've been able to do. And I agreed, but I don't really live even thinking of all the good things I've done or do. I just stay focused on what I have to do and how I can take accountability for making the changes to get the results I need to be more effective. And at the end I said, hey, I'm doing this homeless ministry. He's like, what? I just told him some stories from that. I didn't know how he'd react, but he got real excited. He started coming up with all these ideas and seeing how great it was. And he had a lot of the same ideas I do. Hang on a second, because there's something I've done every day that I've walked through this tunnel, and I've walked through this tunnel at least 1,000 times since I've lived here. I always say, thank you, Jesus! And yes, I do it when there's people in here, and they all look at me. I love you, Jesus. I trust you. My life is in your hands, my kids are in your hands, in your name. Amen. Trust God. He knows what he's doing. I had to sit down this morning and write out a long list of things I'm grateful for, and in detail of how things are going well in my life and how God has blessed my socks off and continues to do so. I put my trust in God, the one and only, the Creator. And I'm a follower of Jesus. And I read my Bible every day. And I meditate on the Word and the implications of seeking Him first and His righteousness and all these things being given to me. Not to worry about anything, but to pray about everything. Tell God what I need, thank Him for what He's done, and He'll give me peace. The kind of peace that surpasses men's understanding. Not to lean on my own understanding, but to acknowledge Him in everything, and He'll make my path straight. And to continue loving God and loving people, doing my little ministry, doing my little walks when I can, going out driving. And just one final announcement. When we take that drive across country next week, that's when I want to make my first videos. I want to help some homeless people in other states and see what that's like. And I want to see who God brings to me. And I want to get it on video. And I want to bless some people. And I want to spread some smiles. Not just across the Southland, but across the United States of America and the world. Thank you, Jesus. There's no possible way I could have done this on my own. Separated from the vine, I can't do a thing, but with you, all things are possible. So Lord, I'm going to trust you. I'm going to let go of my girls. Because I know you know what's best for them, and I know you got them. Because they're both godly girls. I see it with my own eyes. And I know they're locked in. And it's a beautiful thing.